Well, it's that time of year again. Time to take a look at some of the best new GMRS HTs for 2024. As 2024 comes to a close, many of you are thinking about things to put on your holiday shopping list. So it's probably time to take a look at some of the best new GMRS radios for 2024. There have been several new releases in late 2023 and here in 2024 that deserve your attention. I've reviewed several of these radios, so be sure to check out the GMRS playlist. I'll link to the end card of this video if you want some more information. We'll also mention a couple of options from last year's list as they remain solid choices. All the radios in this year's list are what I consider more advanced GMRS radios, while most remain in the budget category. That means they'll sell for around $20 to $30 and include the standard features of large channel memories, FM broadcast reception, DIY GMRS channels, NOAA weather channels, and faceplate keypads to program the radio without using a CPS. In my view, using a CPS is much easier, and these radios all have one, but you don't have to use it. We'll also take a look at a couple of radios that are more expensive, too. I've purchased some of these radios, I've been given a couple for reviews, and just looked at the specs and overall reputation for a couple of others. The radios on my 2023 list remain good choices, but these are some of the newest ones for 2024. Let's go to Amazon to take a look at the sales pages for these radios. Of course, they're also available from other online sources. I'll have affiliate links to each of these radios in the video description below. First on our list is the UV-5G Pro GMRS handheld, and it's got a couple of extra receive band or a broader receive capability than the UV-5G, so that's what makes this one Pro version. Here's a list of what those bands are. So they go from, receive only in the 350 range, the 220 ham band, to include the FM GMRF, as you see here. The range is, always a crapshoot, so we're not going to spend any time there. This smaller case, which is very similar to the UV5R case, is an indicator that the radio has 128 channels, which is, one of the standards that BaoFeng uses. 128, they've got some 200s and some 999s. This one's a 128 channel. And so for kick around, throw it in the box kind of GMRS radio, it's pretty good at $26 right now. With a little bit of a coupon discount, it's a pretty reasonable radio. Next on the list is the UV-5G Plus. Now you can see right away that this one differs because it's got that larger case. It's similar in appearance to the UV5R, but it's a little bit bigger. It's got the large color screen associated with it. It has 999 channels, so it's got more channels than the one we just looked at, and along with the NOAA and scanner and a big battery and all that. It's just a couple of bucks more at $30 for a single radio. We'll look at some of these things. Claims that it's got real 5-watt output. It's got 3 power settings, which is kind of handy. The dimensions are here. And then it's got ways to charge it. And so most of the charging is going to be, from your car, from a power bank, or from a wall wart into the battery via a USB-C. And then it's got a little bit bigger battery coming in at 2,500 milliamp hours. And so this particular radio is not bad. I have it and it works fine. And it's a little bit bigger, although a lot of the radios that we look at that have this large color screen are going to be a little bit harder to read in bright sunlight. Next on our list is another BaoFeng, and this is the GM-21. And if you're a ham, you've looked at these radios, you're going to see that it's, the UV-21s, but the GMRS version. This particular kit comes in as a real value at like $26 with a coupon. Plus, you get 2 antennas, you get the large battery, USB-C cable plus a charging cradle, which makes this a pretty good value. Again, I have this radio. It works fine. It's got a different appearance, but it's basically the UV5R expanded version, although this one has the 999 channels. So this represents kind of that third option, the 128, the 200, and the 199 channel radios from BaoFeng. This is one of the 999, and it has the standard features that you would expect. And so it's not a bad radio. It's nice to look at, and depending on where you're shopping, you can find it, I think, in a variety of colors as well. Next, let's take a look at the Radioddity GM30 Plus GMRS radio. Again, it's a 5-watt radio, but it comes with 1,000 channels. It's got the repeater channels, plus a number of other bands that we'll take a closer look at here in just a second. It also is different that it has GPS track, which also means you can do some GMRS data transfer with this little radio. A lot of times this comes in at a price point quite a bit higher than the $37.99 that it is currently at. The GPS is a handy feature, but it also has, the 1,000 channels. It divides those up into 10 different banks, and so all of that is quite useful, and those are some extra features that aren't found in all of the little GMRS radios at this price point. Let's look at a couple of other things here. We've got, it comes in a 2-pack as well. They come with extra antennas, and when you figure it cost each, they're a couple dollars each less per radio when you get it in that 2-pack bundle. And if you need somebody to talk to, you're going to need 2 anyway. The bands are depicted here in this image. So there's airband, 220 ham band, 350 to 390, 136 to 174, which is the VHF, and 400 to 520, which is the UHF, although they're labeled backwards here in this image, plus the regular GMRS, FM, and NOAA weather bands. Again, as I mentioned, you can put the channels in up to 10 zones, which makes scanning a lot more easy than having to scan through 1,000 channels. And then it's got the dual receive. It's got the 1-click frequency copy if you've got another radio close by, as well as USB-C charging, which makes this quite handy. And then we'll wrap this up with just their image about range. But range is one of those things that is not going to vary much between radio. As you can see that there's a flash sale going on now, and there's a bundle associated with it, which includes a programming cable, a microphone, and a Radioddity ebook. Next on our list is the Ailunce, one of the Radioddity brands, and this is the HA1G radio. Now, Radioddity provided me with one of these for a review that I did not too long ago, and I really like this radio. You can see at the top of the radio here, it's got 2 knobs on top, so one for volume and on-off and one for channel changing, along with using the up and down buttons that you find right here. It comes with a charge cradle plus a way to plug it in. If we look at some of these other things, you'll notice that this radio is waterproof. It's got an IP67 intrusion protection score, and so having it outdoors is going to be safe. The Type-C charging is really handy, and what's unique about this is that the Type-C plugs into the cradle as well. So whether you're plugging directly in to the battery with your Type-C cable or with using the cradle and then plugging your Type-C into the cradle, it all works pretty much the same. It's using the same voltage. It's got a big battery. It's got dual band receive, so an upper and lower register there, and then as well as a colorful screen. Now this screen is not as colorful or uses as many colors as some of these other full color screens, but that also helps make it a little bit more visible in bright sunlight. So that's the Radioddity Ailunce brand HA1G. Again, I've got this one. I like it. It's a nice radio. So that kind of makes up the new 2024, late 2023 radios.
If you're finding this info helpful, please take a moment to hit the thumbs up button and subscribe to the Gadget Talk channel. Click the join button to learn more about becoming a channel member, or show your one-time appreciation by clicking the thanks button, where you can make a contribution that helps support
the Gadget Talk channel. Now, back to the list. And now here are a couple from last year's list that are still current and are still worth mentioning. A very popular radio in the GMRS world is the Tidradio H3. You can see that it comes in at about $28.50, $29 right now. You can find these on sale a little bit less, but they're really pretty cool. They have on-phone programming, as you can see right down here. You can program them via USB-C. It's got a nice, bright, colorful display, and then the buttons that allow you to maneuver through the menus and so forth. It's got some good power. It's got multiple bands, and this is one of the things that makes this stand out, and it makes it continue to be a very popular radio. So airband, FM broadcast, VHF, a wide range there, and then a wide range in the UHF, all in the receive. And then, of course, it is limited in its transmit to the GMRS channels. It programs via USB-C, and not charges, but programs. And so you can plug your USB-C cable into the radio and then into your computer and use the programming software, the customer programming software as depicted here in this image. And then it also has the ability to, copy the signal and CTC or DCS codes that it hears if you've got another radio nearby, that you can duplicate that without having to go in and do a bunch of programming. And then one of the things that is helpful that is noted here is that it's chirp supported. So that's the Tidradio H3. It was on last year's list. It's worth taking a look at this year as well. Now, stepping out of Amazon, we're going over to buy2wayradios.com, the folks over there. And they've got a couple of GMRS radios. The one I'm going to call out is from last year as well. It's the KG 935G Plus radio. It's got a high IP protection score, and it's got, dual band, a lot of frequency memories and that kind of thing that you're going to find helpful in GMRS radio. As you can see, however, this one comes in at a little bit more expensive. It's got, a lot of the same features that those cheaper radios do, but Wouxun usually has a little bit better reputation, and so you're paying for the reputation, and one would assume slightly better quality for this radio, although it has, most of the same or all of the same features that the cheaper radios have, but just in a little bit more rugged and quality case. BTECH is one of those vendors that are related to BaoFeng, and that they often take BaoFeng radios and upgrade them. This one is a BTECH brand, the GMRS Pro. Notice that it's IP67 submersible. That's got that IP intrusion protection score of 67. This one has a GPS associated with it, and so if you're using other BTECH radios like this one, you can keep track of the other people in your group if you have set their radios up properly. It's dual band, it's got a scanner, it says long range, but the range is the same as any other radio in the GMRS category. Some of the things I want to call to your attention is you can program it via an app. Here's the map function with the GPS. You can text back and forth using the data transfer in this GMRS radio. And then there's an image that shows the IP67 intrusion protection score. This one also comes in a little more expensive, a little over $150. BTECH also has a very good reputation out there. And so if you have a little bit more money to spend, this BTECH radio that was on the list last year would be a good choice. And then we're going to finish up with one more Wouxun radio. This one's from a different vendor. This is from BetterSafeRadios.com. And these guys tend to focus on the prepper community. And so as you can see here, as we look at this, it's pre-programmed for GMRS plus the SHTF. So that means it's going to come with like 800 other frequencies programmed into the radio already, so you don't have to spend a lot of time programming in the 1,000 radio channels that are there, the 999 here. It's got a super heterodyne receiver, which means it's a little more sensitive, at least theoretically, than a direct conversion receiver. But it's GMRS, so it's locked into the GMRS channels, but it has a broad range of receive capability. And so if you are into that kind of thing with your radios, emergency comms and SHTF stuff, going over and taking a look at bettersaferadios.com for this UV9G Pro GMRS radio might be worth your time. It comes in at about the price of that other Wouxun radio, and in fact they're very similar, the primary difference being that this one is going to come programmed with all those extra frequencies. So that's a quick look at the 2024 and the best of continuing 2023 radios for this year.
Whether you're looking for your first GMRS radio or looking to fill up a box with several for traveling or camping, any of the radios will serve you well. Radios on last year's list are also good choices, and since they're now a bit older, you might be able to find a bargain or two from that list. Helpful comments are always welcome, so feel free to add your favorite radio to the list. Join me over here for my GMRS playlist with a bunch of GMRS topics and reviews. And don't forget to subscribe to the Gadget Talk channel. Click the notification bell as well. Thanks for watching.